it's Crystal. In today's video I'm going to be doing a tutorial on how I make these glass coasters. If you watched one of my previous haul videos, I had shown the cork squares I pick up and the glass squares, and I said that I make coasters out of them, and I've gotten a lot of people requesting that I do a tutorial on how to do them. So I figured, why not go ahead and show you guys how I do these. They're so easy, and yet they're so personalized, and they're very, very nice. So the supplies you're going to need are these cork squares, or some kind of cork, something for your bottom, and these are 5mm 4x4 cork squares. Okay, and then the glass is 4x4 glass, and they're made by the same company, and I pick these up at Packatans, and they're like sitting right next to each other, so I don't have to search the whole store for them. Then you're going to need something to put in between your cork and your glass, whether it be pictures, you can do glitter, pressed flowers, scrapbooking paper, anything that you want, you know, as long as it's in reason, not too thick, that can be smushed in between the glass and the cork. Then you're going to need some kind of clamps to hold it while it dries. I usually use these kind of clamps, and I pick these up from the dollar store. And for the life of me, I cannot find all my clamps. I only found one of them. So I had to go to the dollar store to pick up more, and they were out of them. So I had to make do with what I could find. So I picked up some of these binder clips. And then I also picked up some of these clips here, and these are multi-purpose clips. So again, these are from the dollar store. So anything that's going to be able to hold your project together while it dries, that's what you need it for. So I went ahead and I already prepped a lot of this stuff just to make it a lot easier. So what you're going to need is, how I do mine is, I do pictures. So what you're going to need like a 4x4 picture. I printed mine out a little bit smaller than what I normally do. And if I put this on here, you can see the cork through there. And that's perfectly fine if you want to go for that look. As you can see there. Okay. However, with this project, I didn't want that. I didn't want the cork to show through. So what I had to do was cut a piece of paper down to a 4x4 square, so it would fit perfectly on the cork. And then my picture will rest on there, so I'll have a white border going around my pictures. Okay. Now, what I did, like I said, is I cut down a 4x4 square. Now, for some reason, none of my 4x4s, I can never measure right. So they didn't measure right. So what I did was I just put them onto the cork, and then I flipped it over to make sure, like on the sides, and I just took an X-Acto knife right down the side, and I know this one's done right, but I just took the X-Acto knife right down the side just to make it perfect. You don't have to do that. You know, that's just me being OCD that I don't want no white showing. So then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my photo, and let me take a look at this real quick so I can sort of get, okay, and I'm going to put my photo down onto my white paper. And it's probably not going to be even, but that's okay with me. It doesn't have to be perfect. These ones I'm not giving away, they're just for myself. But if I was giving them away, I would definitely go through and make sure the measurements were right. And then what you're going to do next is take and glue your photo down to your cork. Oh, that's what else I forgot to tell you you're going to need. A paintbrush. And you can use Mod Podge for this. However, for this project, I really prefer not to use this. And I'll show you why here towards the end of the video. It takes forever to dry. So for this project here, I use this Collage Podge in Glossy. And I picked this up at Joann's a few years ago. And I have over half of a bottle. So it's made by Aleene's. It works the same as Mod Podge. But for this case here, this stuff works so much better than the Mod Podge, and I'll show you why that here and towards the end of the video. So I'm just going to go ahead and pull my paintbrush, get my paintbrush. Now I'm working on, well, you know what, I'll just do this one. Alright, so you're going to take your adhesive and put some down on the bottom here and spread it out. And if you're planning on giving these like as gifts, I would definitely do them about a week ahead of time. And I know you guys are saying a week, but that way everything has a while to dry, because these do take a couple days to at least dry all together. So once you get a nice even coat of your adhesive, then you want to go ahead and put down your photo or whatever you're putting in there. And then what I do, so these dry, is I take my clamps and I put them around here. And I definitely do all four corners, because they do like to come up here in the corners a good bit. And guys, if you hear my dogs barking or growling in the background, I apologize. Okay. So I put it on all four like that, and then I take one of the binder clips onto each side. Boxer. Okay, and then I leave it like this to dry. Probably about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, just enough. And my photo slid. So that's one thing you have to be careful with this, is your paper will slide. So you just want to make sure you have them down where you want them. And those are my dogs saying hello to everybody, because they're quiet until I start recording, and then once I start recording they start barking. So essentially that's how I have my photo, and you'll leave it dry for just about 15 minutes, just to leave everything a good adhesive on it. And while that's drying, I'll go ahead and start working on the second one. Okay guys, now after this has dried for about, I don't know, 15-20 minutes, what we're going to go ahead and do now is put the glass piece on top to finish off the coasters. Now, here's why I said I prefer to use the Collage Podge rather than the Mod Podge. So I'm going to show you. I did these two about 2 days ago, so they're still a little bit wet. This is the one that was done with the Collage Podge, and it is, you can tell it's still a little bit wet. It's a little bit cloudy yet, but once it dries, it will dry completely clear. And so that's the one with the Collage Podge. And the one with the Mod Podge is this one. Now, you can see little air bubbles in here, and you could really work them out, which I've been doing over the past 2 days. But the Mod Podge does take a lot longer to dry than the Collage Podge. I don't know if it's because the Mod Podge's white and the Collage Podge is clear, but I prefer, at least with this method, I prefer the Collage Podge. So this will dry completely clear, but it does take a lot longer to actually start seeing your results than with the Collage Pod. Alright, so very simple for this step here. Let me go ahead and get everything ready, which I should have had done already, but I didn't. Excuse the cough. So we're going to go ahead and just take all of our clips off, and I'm just going to set them to the side because I'm going to be reusing them again here. Okay, and then what you want to do is just put a little bit of adhesive on your photo. You don't want a lot. You don't want to put too much adhesive on here. You just want enough to do a nice even coat. So just put a little bit on, and then if you need more, go back and put more on. And that's probably too much. And again with this, make sure you get all your sides, coat them nice and even. Okay. Then you want to take your glass and line it up over top of your photo. And then give it a nice squeeze to try to get the air bubbles out. And don't worry if you get glue on top of your glass, because you can clean out once it dries. So I'm pretty happy with the way this looks here, so I'm going to start clipping everything down. Again. And what happens is if you put too much adhesive, it will start coming out the sides, which is fine because you can clean it up later, but it also creates a lot more room for air bubbles and things like that. And if you start seeing any air bubbles in the middle, all I do is go from the back and apply some pressure to the front, and it just, you know, moves them out of there. But once these dry, they dry completely clear, and you really can't see too many air bubbles or anything like that. I wish I could find my old ones I did a while ago, but I had lost them. But if you can see in here, like right in here, like there's an air bubble right there. I've tried getting that air bubble out and I can't. But once it dries, you're not even, it won't be noticeable. So that is my tutorial on how to make these coasters. They're very simple and they're very, very nice to give as gifts. I like doing this as gifts. Like I said, if you plan on giving them as a gift, at least try making them about a week ahead of time. That's the way they can dry completely. Just the more time you give yourself before you actually have to give it away, it's better in this case. So I plan on making some of these for Christmas, and I'll actually do them probably next month, and then they'll be done and ready for Christmas time. They'll be dry, they'll look good, I'll have plenty of time to clean them up. So yeah, very, very simple, but I like them. And even if you wanted to, you could put like little felts on the back of them. I don't do that, but you can if you wanted to. But yeah, so that's my tutorial. I'm like I said, I tried not to do a voiceover on this one, so hopefully I don't have to. But, yeah, guys, so until next time, I will talk to you later. Bye.